All right, David with Supreme Power Wash. So this is a typical ball valve we use at the end of all of our pressure washing hoses. So I'll typically have a inline Mosmatic swivel coming in and then just a plug coming out to hook up to, our guns, lances, surface cleaners, all the above. These ball valves are handy. They're nice. I like them. They're fairly robust. They are a bit on the pricey side, but we typically get, pretty good. I would venture to say we probably, on average, get 4 months out of each ball valve. Obviously, winding up the hoses, they get dragged at the end of every job. But in any case, it seems to work for us, so this is the way we do it. These ball valves, they start to give problems. I would say the most common problem is there's obviously some sort of I'm assuming an O-ring or some type of seal in here that when you turn the valve off and the unloader goes in a bypass and it traps pressure in the line, you'll end up getting a spray, a mist coming out of here, and it's just, getting you soaking wet until you start spraying again. That's probably the most common issue we have with these ball valves. So I was just gonna take this one apart. Honestly, I've never taken one apart before, and I just wanted to kind of open it up and see what they look like and what the parts consist of. So I've had this in a vise. This was really tight, so that's typically threaded all the way in. I already got that loosened, and I already loosened this nut here on top as well. There is a little cap that typically falls off after about the first hour of use. You can see right now it's in the open position, and then obviously if I turn it, it closes. I could rotate all the way. Obviously when the handle is on there, it's got these cutouts here that hit these locks, these positive stops here, so you get I guess a quarter turn rotation out of that. Sorry, hope I'm not making you dizzy. So, something just fell out of there. Maybe some type of Loctite or something on the threads. So that's just a, looks like nickel. That may be an O-ring down in there. Feels like it. Let me pull this off. There's an O-ring there. That has quite a bit of debris on it. You can even see some wear right here. Wear in the O-ring. I know something that will cause these ball valves to wear quicker than normal is if you use it for what I call throttling purposes, basically where you throttle your flow using the ball valve. So if you have the ball valve, yeah, that O-ring's definitely worn out. I'm not sure if that's what causes the leak or not, but so obviously with the ball valve all the way open, and you have the full water just passing through there, and if you turn it just partially, it will give you basically a jet stream, but just a little more pressure. You're obviously creating a back pressure there, some restriction. So instead of just like a full flow, you get restricted flow, but at a higher pressure to kind of blow some debris if you're rinsing off or whatnot. And if you do that, obviously, looking through the hole there, if you throttle it right there to where you just have a partial opening, that water is going to eventually start to cut into that edge, that leading edge right there, and it'll create a wear in that ball. And then what ends up happening is if you do that a lot, it'll wear that ball so much that even when you turn your handle all the way and cut it off, it won't totally cut off, and you'll end up getting some water still passing through that ball, escaping out of your plug at the end here. And when that happens, even though your unloader is in bypass, you'll start to hear your pressure washer cycling back and forth, because once the unloader senses, it basically thinks you're back on the trigger, so it'll recycle, and you'll keep kind of hearing your kind of a surging from the pressure washer, and it's basically because you have a leak in your line here. And pulling that out. Okay, so basically there's a keyway here. So here's your O-rings. There's the problem. Look right there. That's the reason that this thing was leaking. Water was bypassing, going right around that O-ring. There's a little machined edge right here that it rests on. I'm assuming it probably matches this portion right here. And then that ball down at the bottom there. See. Oh, let's see. Okay. So here's where the magic happens. This is obviously the ball in there that when you turn the handle, this handle, that machined area matches right in there. So when you turn that handle, it's turning this ball to either the open position or the closed position. And obviously we weren't doing a lot of rinsing with this one, because I don't see any wear marks. You'd find on one that where guys are rinsing a lot and throttling the pressure, you'd see a wear mark, here on the leading edge. But for sure, this O-ring that was broke in that groove right there, that was a problem. I'm certain I could probably get rebuild kits and rebuild these things. I would assume they're probably offered. I don't know that for sure. But again, even though these valves are a little pricey, for the time and effort, it's just not worth the frustration. We get problems with these things. It's just the cost of doing business. We take it off, throw it in the trash can, buy a new one. So here's the main components to these ball valves. And that is the construction of how these things work.